Well, welcome to the Christian Whistleblower. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, and this is the Gospel Truth Channel. And I'm coming to you today to answer a question that has come up a couple of times, and that came up yesterday on my broadcast with Rex Bear from Leak Project. One of the people in the chat room asked the question, and Rex and I discussed it. And I'd also like to bring this to you. And if you didn't get a chance to catch that podcast, then check out my interview on Leak Project with Rex Bear, and I think you will be glad that you did. Now, the title of this is Dethroning a God, Diplomacy First. Now, many people have asked, and I think rightly so. It shows that you're thinking. It shows that you're pondering. It shows that you are understanding that, Jeff, why would you want to, right off the bat, pick a fight with the gods? Well, I'm not sure that I'm trying to pick a fight with the gods. I don't believe that I'm trying to pick a fight with the gods. I believe what we're trying to do is replace the provenly flawed, the provenly fallen, the provenly inept God of this world, who is currently, of course, the entity that you know his name, but he is he that shall not be named. I don't want to name him because it gives him power. And while it could ultimately require aggressive action on the part of our coalition, the hope would be that you could solve this initially, or we could solve this first through, thank you, Mother Nature. I appreciate it very much. You could solve this through diplomacy. Mother Nature says, hi, Jeff. If no one has told you lately, you're doing an amazing job. Keep it up, and thank you. Awesome show yesterday. By the way, thank you very much, Mother Nature. I appreciate it. And all the folks that are filling up the chat room, I thank you so very much. It is my pleasure to be here with you. It's my pleasure to be bringing you this information. And Jen, I wasn't sure if we were supposed to meet today. I didn't have it on my schedule, and I thought maybe somebody might have not woken up on time. So I wasn't sure what the situation is. So I didn't forget about you at all. I just wanted to let you know that I didn't hear from you. So I thought maybe, because you had mentioned that was a little early for you, that you slept in. So, okay. Yeah, didn't want to call if you had slept in. So I understand what's going on. We will send me an email, tell me what time you want, and I'll clear the schedule for you. I just didn't want to, I didn't get an email from you at all. Did not get an email from you at all. Let me just double check before I say that. No, I did not get an email from you. So sorry about taking care of business, folks, but I did want to take care of that. So the hope initially would be this. The hope initially would be that we would all research our indigenous gods, that we would all contact some of the indigenous gods that specifically appeal to us. And my first inclination was, do not contact gods that have dealt with blood sacrifice in the past. And while I still feel rather strongly that way, the question came up in my mind, is it possible for a God to reform their ways? Is it possible for a God that formerly subsisted on blood worship to now choose, rather than be forgotten in antiquity, to subsist on respect, honor, and maybe even a little bit of praise? Someone sent me a note that said, praise is not worship. Praise doesn't give your sovereignty over. You can give praise without giving worship and without subliminating, I guess would be the right word, your sovereignty. So is that possible? Or like Rex said to me, but can a vampire do anything but drink blood? So an idea to ponder, an idea to consider. But at any rate, after we have searched our gods, after we have decided on some gods that resonate with us and appeal to us, and one person, I don't know if they want their name spoken, but they talked about having a rain god that appealed to them. And they initiated some conversation with this rain god, and they're in a very dry area that rain is atypical of, and it rained all day. So, folks, this is real. Folks, this is real stuff. So don't think it's play. It is actually real. So keep that in mind. So as we contact these gods, as we talk to them, as we work with them, and Tiffany makes a good point that we're very close to fairies, or the fair folk, as I think they'd prefer to be called. We, in these bodies are mud hut bodies. They're made out of the elements. So I want to get Ashley back on to talk about this. It seems like we could invoke the help of the fair folk as well. But at any rate, once we've done the research, once we've contacted the gods, once we appear to have gods on board to help us, one would hope that if there's a consortium, a confederation, if you will, of, let's just say 50 gods, one would hope that 50 gods and us could go to he that should not be named and say, hey, look, listen, you need to knock it off. And it's interesting. You have to think about it from the God's perspective. The biblical text says that a year, 1,000 years is like a day to a God, and a day is like 1,000 years. So the idea is that to them, time is not that big a deal. So if you take that as a rule of thumb, it's been maybe, I don't know how long it's been that there's been humans around. Let's say it's since Yahweh, or since he that shall not be named stole the worship of all the other gods. Let's say it's been, let's take it all the way back to the beginning of Judaism. Let's say it's been 6,000 years. So it's been a little less than a week in the eyes of the gods. So to me, it seems like if 40, 50, 60 gods go to he that should not be named and say, hey, look, funny joke. It's been a week, in their terms. It's been a week. No one's been praying to us. No one's been giving us the worship. You stole our worship. You stole our prayers. Ha, ha, ha. Funny joke. Knock it off. No, I'm not saying it would go exactly like that, but one would hope that there is a possibility of talking sense into he that shall not be named, because after all, I'm convinced that he is probably not that powerful of a God, because he always uses people to do his business. He's never done his own wet work. He's never actually taken matters into his own hands. And of course, it's the people that worship him that are of the biggest concern. But it would be hopeful in my mind, at least I have a hope, that diplomacy could be the answer, that it may not have to resort to actual aggression, but diplomacy. And we're really doing a sort of a blockade as well, attempting to blockade his worship, his praise, attempting to lessen the mention of his name. So we're trying to work out a diplomatic solution. And I do remain hopeful that he might possibly be amenable to a diplomatic solution, because I get the feeling that he's a little cowardly. I get the feeling that he is a little afraid. I get the feeling that he's not this big, bad, scary entity that we think he is, but he uses fear, and he leverages the action of people to make himself look like a tough guy. But if we go all the way back to Genesis, the only time he ever did anything on his own is when he had the Imhulu with him, and now he doesn't have that anymore. Even when you look at Egypt, Moses did his dirty work. When you look at Babylon, the Hebrews were doing his dirty work. When you look at the Tower of Babel, the Hebrews did his dirty work. When you're talking about the taking of the quote unquote promised land that belonged to somebody else when they took it. He used people to do his work. Down through the years, as Israel slaughtered men, women, boys, girls, children, babies in their mother's womb, kids, animals, it was always the people doing it, not he who shall not be named himself. So the hope is that there could be a diplomatic solution. The hope is that the confederation of gods and goddesses and us can appeal to he that shall not be named and have him abdicate the throne of this planet, to have him agree to resign, or at the very least have him agree to allow the other gods to join him in a confederation, although he was thrown out of the pantheon of the Elohim. So I don't know how that would work, but all I'm saying is it's not necessarily calling for a hot war. It's calling for the replacement of he that shall not be named as the God of this world, as the husbandman of this vineyard, because he has proven by his own actions for 6,000 to 10,000 years that he's unworthy. The Elohim gave him a chance by allowing him to stay conscious and active within this arena, and he has proven himself consistently and repeatedly unfit and unworthy of rule. And I believe that when there's many gods in the congregation of the gods, and when we are essentially Elohim in training, we have the right to say, listen, this person, this entity has proven himself unfit to lead. This entity has proven himself unfit to be the husbandman of this vineyard. And as such, according to the scriptures and according to the prophecies, we are removing him as husbandman of the vineyard and giving the vineyard to others that will be, in our judgment, more benevolent, more fair, more balanced, and will result in a more harmonious interchange and interplay between all of the players in this arena. So that's what I'm talking about. And Nancy Ray, take a deep breath. We don't want to say that kind of stuff in the chat room, so let's just take a deep breath. Thank you, Jen. Okay, let me go into the chat room and see what is crack-a-lacking over there. But that's basically what I wanted to say on that regard. So we're not necessarily calling for a war. We're calling for the abdication of the throne by he that should not be named, because he has proven over and over again that he's not worthy of being on that throne, and he's not worthy of holding that position. So we want to dispossess him of that position. And I'll be on the radio tonight with Barbara DeLong. She has about 1 million people listen to this show. I can't remember what it's called exactly. Let's see if I can find the name of it here real quickly. Let me see. And I'm really looking forward to it. And it's going to be, I think it'll be a great opportunity to get our message out there a little bit more. So let me find the name of this radio show. I was just on our other show, and the other show was called Nightlight. I'm not sure what this show is called. And this is a show, again, that has about 1 million listeners. So, and the show is called, looking forward to doing a show with you. Nightlight Radio. I guess it is still called Nightlight Radio. And it's on freedomslips.com, Studio B. You can also call in. You can Skype to participate in the show or on the chat room. And again, you can also hear it on Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, and on Barbara's website, Barbara DeLong's website. The show's Monday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, runs for 2 hours with a 5-minute break on the hour. So again, you can watch the broadcast by going to freedomslips.com Studio B, and I'll put that, I'll publish that throughout the day so you can know how to get there and be a part of that show if you would like to. So let's take a quick look in the chat room. Come on now, we've transcended literalism and now we have not friends. God and Satan are within. Let's be real and practical. Don't know what you mean, Doc Illusion, but I think I disagree with you. I can be in an old pine tree for 10 or 15 minutes. Yep. They're also close to the fair folk. We talked about that one. Maybe we should rewatch True Blood. That never caught me, and I like vampires too, so I'm not sure why that didn't catch me. Cherokee Dog, good resource. What about the Saints? The Saints are bastardized gods. I mean, the Saints are just Catholicized bastardizations of the gods and goddesses that were there before Catholicism ever got there. So typically a saint, at least in the ancient, the old saints are what used to be the indigenous gods, and they would just rechristen them saints. And of course, it still robbed the worship and praise to those particular gods. So usually, I mean, saints are a Catholic thing, and saints are no bueno in my. What about the AI agenda? What about the AI agenda? Not really sure what you mean by that. He is a Charlie Manson. He didn't do his own wet work. He is a human eater. I agree. But I don't. He's a human eater, Ransom. But again, I don't see any evidence of him doing his own wet work. He gets people to do it for him, which doesn't make it any better. But I'm just talking about he himself. How powerful is he himself? That's my question. Hello, Flat Earth. Nice to have you here. I don't think I've seen you before, or if I have and don't remember, my apologies, but good to have you here before. See if I see any other folks that I don't recognize. Always great to have new folks in the house. Mother Nature, nice to see you. And nice to see all of you, of course. And what else have we got here in the chat room? We've got, yeah, the notifications. You kind of have to sometimes unsubscribe and resubscribe. You have to make sure you are still subscribed. Yeah, there you go. Not likely. I don't know what's not likely. What do you guys think about 91101 or Route 91 on 1001? Not sure what to think about that. Yes, he is. He that should not be named is guilty of crimes against humanity. There's absolutely no doubt about that. And he should be held accountable for it. I have to believe. I do believe, and I do know it's true. He has been guilty, and we have to. The gag he pulled on the pagan god should work fine on him. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And I mean, even if you're a tough god and you got 50 other gods, a lot of them war gods, saying, "Look, bro, enough's enough." That has to be okay, Nancy. A little timeout for you while you calm down. You can call it whatever you want, but you can't be throwing around F-bombs in the chat room. That's just the way it goes. No, we do. The last person, Pia, that we want to try to get involved in this is Mary. That's a Catholic invention. We don't want that Catholic rat bastard, blood worship type of thing involved at all. Now the divine feminine is one thing, but Mother Mary is another. And my view, it's going to be hard to use the minority against the big three religions. Their collective energy is strong. We didn't say it was going to be easy. We need to evolve. The Aeons and the Elohim are waiting for the children to grow up. I agree. Night light. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. But doesn't it only take one of us to 100 of them? Well, I think the scriptural reference is one can put 1,000 to flight, two can put 10,000 to flight. But if we think that as mortals, we can go head on head with gods or demigods, I think it's wise to get help from the gods. That's just the way I'm looking at it. Remember, words are power. I agree. I appreciate you thinking outside the box, Pia. That makes perfect sense. Not named guy. What was that saying? This thing jumps on me. Not named guy is powerful as an elite politician. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point, Ransom. Good morning, Ed, upside down head. Don't know that I've seen you before. Anna Sylvester, nice to see you. Liv, nice to see you. We create, we bring into manifestation. I agree. It's hired by, yeah, it's hired contractors. Yep. Amber A, nice to see you. To dethrone God, unindoctrinate yourself by listening to Jeff. Thank you. What about a new God, an AI God? That's interesting. I think a new God would have to go some to replace all the old gods, but I think it's certainly possible. Liv says follow the money and the narrative. I agree. Mother Eve. You know, I appreciate everybody, you know, asking me about their palms, but you know, there's a lot of people ask for free palm readings, and I'm going through and I'm doing them as best I can. But to send me an email and think it's going to happen right away for a free palm reading is probably not the most realistic expectation. So just saying. Just saying. Jesse, I think that you're very correct. They are working on it, no doubt about it. I think the rapture is nothing but fake Jesuit doctrine, and rapture can happen within, but the rapture, I don't think is a real thing. All rods will be mailed out by tomorrow. Most of them are already out, but I do send them the cheap way, so it takes a minute for them to get to you. So there you go. So again, yeah, rapture is a false flag program. I agree. So we are definitely advocating the replacement of he that shall not be named as the God of this world because he has proven himself unworthy. We survived the rapture 2017. Several of them, like Tiffany points out. But he has proven himself to be unworthy of being on the throne of this planet, the husbandman of this vineyard. So, according to the scriptures, we want to remove him and replace him with someone or a group of someones that is better. And we're organizing a confederation of gods and gods in training, namely us, to go to him and say, hey, look, time for you to go. Time for you to move on. I don't know, IOX, about using the rods as a TV antenna. Yes, and definitely, Liv. Religion is a control narrative based in fear and self-recrimination. I like to think about it as fear and guilt, and it is a lie, but I would agree with you, not the ultimate lie. Edna Bell says, you was assume on Leak Project last night. Not sure what that means. Pendulum, I use pendulum as well. I was thinking about making some pendulums because some people really like pendulums. Hey, Lee, nice to see you. And some people think they work better and they work for people. You know, different things work for different people. I do have pendulums that has been sent to me and they work just fine for me. In fact, they work really well, but for some reason, I resonate with the rods better. So, I mean, here's my pendulum. And for me, Right circle is a yes. Left circle is a no. People set something for maybe. I don't usually have a maybe because I don't usually get maybes. But let's ask a question here. Was Jen really waiting on me today? Oh, look at that. It's giving me a yes. Did Jen really oversleep and is just trying to make it look like she was waiting for me? And look at that. It's giving me a no. Look, a big no. Wow, these things are very nice. Look at that thing. Wow, that's powerful stuff. So pendulums obviously work. I might make some pendulums. I don't know if I would make them with crystals, but I would maybe make some pendulums with maybe copper balls or copper arrows at the bottom. Should I make some pendulums? Oh, look at that. Big yeses. Davey, I watched your new video. I liked it. It was very interesting. Jeff, can I plug my channel and mainly my Hangouts? You just did. You just did. Oh, awesome. Okay, was Davey's new video a good one? Oh, look at that. Definitely a yes. Definitely a yes. How about that? So yeah, they definitely work, and I like them. I can see why people like them. I'm not sure why I resonate more with the pendulum or with the divining rods, but I do. Here's an interesting one. Here's an interesting one. Let's ask the rods if I should make some pendulums. Should I make some pendulums? Oh, they say yes, indeed. How about that? Jeff, sir, hate or like my comments, please don't say my real name. I'm no narc and don't need any inspiration. I've asked you not to use my name and you have. You know what? We'll just make it easy, Nancy, right? Oops. Your name's out there. She's got her name out there on her thing and she wants to tell me not to use her name. A fish line and a sinker will tell you where the fish are. That's interesting. I don't understand some people. I really don't. Don't use my name as my name is right here in the chat. Exactly. We can all see your name. Oh, Lord. That's funny. It's like I just again have to go Curly Bill Brocious from Tombstone. Well, bye. Is there another way to give a donation other than PayPal? You can mail it to me. Just send me an email at christianwhistleblower@gmail.com and I'll send you the address. I need to get a P.O. box because I don't really like giving my address out because there's some chuckleheads out there. Don't use my state's name. If you do, it will cause the Bucks to lose. There's a few things causing them to lose today, I think, or lose this season. I don't think they're having a great year. What do I think about Ouija boards? For some reason, I don't like Ouija boards. For some reason, they give me the heebies a little bit. I'm just not a Ouija board person. And I know it doesn't make any sense to be okay with rods and be okay with pendulums. But to me, I just don't, the Ouija boards are too much like channeling. There's too much interaction going on. That's just my take. I don't like Ouija boards. People like to, a lot of people like Ouija boards. Tiffany is starting to see the glow around people for auras. Yeah, Ashley's good on that too. It takes a little minute. It takes a minute. What's the donation used for? Making more of this stuff and like getting new microphones, being able to travel to places and do shows. It's used on doing this show, doing this work. And that was one sentence. I don't understand people either. Ouija boards open too many portals and you don't know what's coming through. That's kind of my feeling. I married a psychic woman and she left me before we met. Maybe she knew something. There's never a good report regarding Ouija. I'm not sure. Some people like them. Some people like them. I don't like chatting with demons or Angela either. I'm not sure who Angela is, but yeah. Tried many times. You do sound better. Well, I haven't got the new mic yet hooked up, so I'm glad this headphones are pretty good, or this headset's a pretty good headset. Yeah, I think they're a little more risk-taking myself. Will Davey ever get a decent internet connection? Read palms if you email. I shall soon be placing some donation. Thank you. I appreciate it. I like cats over humans. Oh, he meant to say angels. I don't like chatting with demons or angels. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Absolutely 100% with you on that one. So there you go, folks. Well, yeah, Ouija boards, I don't know, Kimberly. They just not my cup of tea. Let's put it that way. And boy, doesn't a cup of tea sound really good right now? Very, very. Do I have any thoughts on where animals go after death? Probably wherever they want to go. Lyndon's wifey here. Oh, hey, Stephanie Lee, Lyndon's wifey. A woman with the patience of Job, obviously. I would love to come to the UK. We have lots and lots of supporters and listeners in the UK. I've been asked several times, but just haven't been able to put together. And I can't drive the RV to the UK. Hello, Doc Illusion. That's cool. Thank you. God is spelled backwards is dog. That's interesting. I wouldn't prefer to even try a Ouija board. It's not my thing. Yeah. I've been to the UK before. I lived in Europe for almost 4 years. So yeah. Do you think the 7 gods are the same as the 7 cycles masters from Thoth? I haven't read Thoth, so I can't answer that question. But I think there's more than 7 gods. I will say that. The Aussies will look after me. Thank you. A ghost dog is the easiest pet. Nice. Should be lots of cheap, damaged boats to fix up. There you go. Sailing my own boat to the UK. That would be way outside of my comfort zone, way outside of my abilities as well. But just so you know, diplomacy first, and taking the necessary steps thereafter. And some people have said, well, what happens if you get a God that's worse than Yahweh? I don't know if that's possible, but I mean, I think it should go back to a much more democratic type of a setup than this autocratic dictatorship that we have through, you could ask Neptune for help, that we have through the current system with the rat bastard. So yes, I do use the tarot as well. And I do like the Cosmic Initiation deck. I think that's a powerful deck. And why don't we go ahead and close today's show with the GTA card of the day. And the lady that I'm on the radio show with tonight invented these Cosmic Initiation cards, and I think they're really good. So let's do, Neptune has a movie coming out. Oh yeah, with the Avengers, right? We'll do the GTA card of the day. All right, GTA card of the day. Met a lady with a frog around her neck. She didn't want to wear a cross, so she wore a frog instead. She said fraud stood for fully really on God. Oh, that's nice. That's great stuff right there, folks. GTA card of the day is universal spirituality. Now, how is that for trying to bring in a confederation of gods and changing the setup? How's that? Universal spirituality, that resonates right away for me. Let's see, 10 o'clock tonight, Eastern time. And I'll post the link. Yeah, universal spirituality. What does that mean? Universal spirituality. Universal spirituality. Universal love. I don't know why she didn't put these in alphabetical order. I'm going to ask her tonight. Universal spirituality. Here we go. Ooh, Native American. Oh, that sounds interesting. You are more aware of the intensity of the spirit within. Yes. Spiritual concepts are coming to the fore of reality. Yes. Greater focus on the spiritual gives greater focus within reality. Yes. The spirit within seeks greater manifestation in reality. A new level of spirit comes into consciousness. The spirit opens the heart to greater intensity. These things are right on. I mean, because that's obviously right on with what the GTA is trying to do right now. And of course, there is no try, only do or do not. So this is what we're doing. And I went and saw, what did I see? Blade Runner last night. And I saw there's a new Star Wars coming out. I'm not a Star Wars guy, but I saw the ad for the new movie. So that with that Yoda reference. Yeah, Rooney just brushed under the desk here and about scared me to death. See, we got to stop saying those things. You don't want to say, "Oh, it scared me to death," because you know what? It can, words mean things. The Star Wars isn't out yet, Jen. They're still advertising it. You must have saw one of the old ones, huh? All right. Please, could you do a show around evening time in the UK? That's actually a good idea. That's actually a really good idea. And there's a radio network over there begging me to do a show for them, and I really should, but I don't know why I haven't. It's just hard for me sometimes. Yeah, a UK show, evening show for UK viewers. That's a very interesting thought. Thank you for that. I will take that under serious consideration. Under serious consideration. The new movie is called The Last Jedi, I believe. What do I think of the new Star Trek show? I haven't watched it because I thought it would be crappy. So I don't really have a opinion on it. That sums it up well. Universal source. All right, folks. I've not been on Red Eyes. I don't think they like me. I've asked them several times, but send them my name again. I'd love to be on that show. How do I feel about the Moonies? That's the Hare Krishna wearing the orange things in the airports, right? I don't know anything about the Moonies, Lee. I really don't. I've heard the Orville's good. I don't have a TV, so you know. Another movie that destroys childhood icons. Interesting. All right, folks, I gotta get to Home Depot and buy some more rod making stuff. And I appreciate every one of you. And I salute you for seeking truth. Remember, you don't have original sin. You've got this spark of divinity within. And that's why you should love yourself and love others. We do appreciate you very much. And here's what you have to figure out. Is the world crazy or are you? I'm here to help you decide which and what to do afterwards. Oh, the Moonies with Reverend Sung Young Moon. Yeah, they were I don't know if they're still around after he died, but man, that's a trip. Obviously, I'm not down with them at all. But folks, unindoctrinate yourselves, and more than anything else, stay fearless, my friends.